Unsolved mysteries that shocked experts. Mysteries are interesting to read about. It's like a puzzle, do you agree? Let us make today's video interesting that way. Are you excited to know about some unsolved mysteries? Hey, welcome back to Discovery Unraveled. Take that investigator's hat and let us ponder why even experts cannot solve the following mysteries. So before we get started, don't forget to watch and subscribe to our channel, Discovery Unraveled, and hit the bell icon for more riveting contents. Number 1. Jack the Ripper. Let's go back to the 1800s. In 1888, in London's Whitechapel district, lived a serial killer, Jack the Ripper. The Whitechapel district was then known for its criminal activity and bloodshed. The public frowns their brow when they hear about Jack the Ripper's string of killings. He was described as a psycho with no perceivable motive, despite the fact that his most famous murders only involved 5 women. Still, many theories suggest that he killed up to 11 women. We will look deeper into it. The canonical 5 victims were all prostitutes. This could be a common link. However, it was common for women in the Whitechapel district to turn to prostitution as a way to make a living. From August 7th to September 10th, 1888, all 5 killings occurred within a mile between each other. Several other murders committed around the same time have been linked to Leather Apron, another nickname given to the murderer. The killer allegedly sent a number of letters to the London Metropolitan Police Service, provoking officers about his horrific activities and speculating on future murders. Actually, the nickname Jack the Ripper comes from a letter known as the From Hell letter. This letter came at the time of these attacks. Despite numerous studies claiming conclusive proof of the brutal killer's identity, the brutal killer's real identity and purpose remain unknown. Number 2. Ghost Ship, the Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste, a British-American ship, was discovered empty and directionless in the Atlantic on December 4, 1872. It was discovered to be maneuverable and to have all of its cargo intact, but one of its lifeboats was missing. But why is this so? We will never know because no one on board was ever found. The Mary Celeste set sail from New York in November 1872, heading for Genoa, Italy. Captain Benjamin Briggs and 7 crew members were on board. The supplies on board were plentiful and luxurious. Everything was perfect. It is time to hear the various theories experts have come up with. Mutiny, pirate attack, and attack by a giant octopus or sea monster have all been proposed over the years. Scientists have recently proposed that fumes from alcohol on board led to an explosion, but due to some scientific miracle, the ship did not leave behind signs of burning. The captain ordered everyone to board the lifeboat. Who all were the passengers? What really happened to the ship? These questions are still unanswered. Number 3. Voynich Manuscript. The Voynich Manuscript is a book of 250 pages. What exactly is the mystery here? Nobody has read the book because the language and writing system are completely unknown. It has been carbon dated to the 1400s and contains drawings of plants that bear no resemblance to any known species of today. The first purchase was in 1912 by a Polish book dealer, but the credit for being the first confirmed owner goes to Georg Baresch, a Czech alchemist. This manuscript was wasting space in his library. Baresch attempted to discover the manuscript's origins, all in vain. Many people thought the book was meant to be a medical textbook. Only the real writer knows what it is all about. Then, after a series of purchasing and selling, the manuscript reached the hands of Voynich. Voynich claimed it was written by Albertus Magnus, who was an alchemist, or Roger Bacon, who was an early scientist. Some believe that Voynich created this history entirely on his own. Over the years, various other fabrications have been proposed, but no stories explained the carbon dating of the ink and paper. Centuries after its alleged discovery, the Voynich manuscript remains as secretive and incomprehensible as ever. Number 4. The Pollock Sisters. Do you believe in reincarnation? If so, why? We would like to know. Do share in the comments section. Scientists never supported reincarnation theories because they could not find any scientific evidence to support that phenomenon. However, some unsolved mysteries emerge, compelling them to research more about this subject. One such mystery is the Pollock sisters' story. 2 young English sisters, Joanna Pollock, 11, and Jacqueline Pollock, 6, were killed in a car accident in 1956. 1957. Exactly a year later, their mother welcomed twins, Jillian and Jennifer. When the twins were old enough to speak, they began identifying and asking for toys once owned by their deceased sisters. That sounds like a haunted story, doesn't it? The most concerning aspect was that the twins would occasionally panic when seeing a car. "That car is coming to get us," they once yelled. These incidents became less frequent after the twins turned 5. After that, the girls went on to have regular lives. Still, wasn't that weird how the newborn twins acted like their late sisters? This story of the Pollock sisters reached Dr. Ian Stevenson, who is a reincarnation researcher. After researching thousands of alleged cases, Dr. Stevenson wrote a book about 14 of them, including the Pollock sisters case. It's time to reveal another secret to you. If you subscribe to Discovery Unraveled, you're going to experience a whole lot of fun and adventure. We can't wait to show you more. Number 5, the nightmare sleeping sickness. Sleeping sickness. Has anybody here experienced this before? This terrifying condition afflicted 500,000 people between 1917 and 1928. You could even make a horror film out of it. The victims remain fully conscious and living, but they've become strangely frozen, their static bodies looking like they're dead. Encephalitis lethargica, also known as the sleeping sickness, began in Europe and rapidly spread throughout the world. By 1919, this epidemic had spread to North America, Europe, and India. Approximately 1/3 of those infected ended up dead. The cause remains unknown. But first, let us discuss an intriguing theory. This deadly disease is caused by a brain inflammation caused by a rare strain of Streptococcus, a bacteria. Scientists believe that the bacteria mutated, causing the immune system to attack the brain and render the victim helpless. None of this explains why the illness vanished, only to reappear on occasion, whether in Europe in the 1950s or in China 10 years ago. A 2004 study of 20 patients with symptoms strikingly similar to sleeping sickness concluded that this disease is still active. Number 6. Who? Dan Cooper? Dan Cooper was a passenger on Northwest Airlines Flight 305, a 30-minute flight from Portland to Seattle. It was on November 24, 1971. After the incidents, the fellow passengers and the flight staff described this man as follows. A man in his mid-40s wearing a dark suit, a black tie with a mother-of-pearl tie clip, and a neatly pressed white collared shirt. He settled into his chair, lit a cigarette, and ordered a bourbon and soda. Then, strangely, he handed a note to a 23-year-old flight attendant shortly after takeoff. The girl rejected it, assuming it was just the man's phone number. "Miss, take a look at that note," Dan Cooper said. "I have a bomb." A fun question for you. What would be your reaction if you were in the place of that girl? Comment down your answers. The actual wording of the note is part of the mystery. Nobody knows it. After reading it, the man made his demands, which included $200,000 in negotiable American currency, 4 parachutes, and a fuel vehicle standby in Seattle to refuel the plane upon arrival. The demands were brought to the captain by the flight attendant. The president of the airline approved full cooperation for passenger safety. In fact, the other passengers had no idea what was going on because they had been told that the landing had been delayed because of technical issues. The plane touched down at 5:39 p.m. A cash-filled sack and parachutes were delivered by an airline employee. Cooper then permitted all passengers and 2 flight attendants to exit the plane. Cooper later explained his plan to the crew while refueling a southeasterly course toward Mexico with one more refueling stop in Nevada. The plane took off 2 hours later. When the flight arrived in Reno, Cooper was not there on the flight. Cooper, who was mistakenly referred to as DB Cooper by the media, was never found after that. There was no parachute found, and surprisingly, the settlement money was never utilized. The story has got a twist here. In 1980, a young boy in Oregon discovered several parcels of the ransom money, which were identified using the serial numbers. A serious search was held for Cooper after that. Nothing was ever discovered. That is why it is still an infectious case. In 2017, a parachute strap was discovered at one of Cooper's possible landing sites, too. How was the video? If you found it interesting, don't wait to hit the like button, and don't forget to share and subscribe to Discovery Unraveled. The comment section is all welcoming you to make this video more interactive. Let us brainstorm here. What if we find a thread? Stay tuned for unraveling more exciting subjects. We'll be back soon. See ya!